Hi, and welcome. We have not disappeared off the face of the planet. This is the Northern Knits podcast. We're going to do something a little bit different this week. So if you have tuned in before, you'll know it's not the normal format for us. And you haven't tuned in before, and this is your first time, don't worry, welcome, grab a chair. We are as crazy as we sound. This week we're going to be not quite as knitting-centric as we usually are, though still quite heavily knitting-related. Just slightly more nerdy than nitty-nerdy.
More on the nerd, less on the knit.
Yeah, there's still a lot of knitting.
It's con season. We've been to a lot of cons.
It has been a con season. But I'm Jocelyn.
I'm Diana.
And we're coming to you from Winnipeg, Manitoba, and we're going to talk to you about knitting and all those things related in between. We come to you from Osborne, which explains the background noise, because cars.
Brought to you by cars. They're loud.
Cars, helping people get from point A to point B since Ford. Cars. Spent a lot of my time listening to John and Hank Green. I'm sorry. I really like their fake sponsors.
I am also a fan of the fake sponsor thing.
Having said that, if anybody's a real sponsor, please get a hold of me.
northernknitspodcast@gmail.com.
Yep. This is the thing. It'll totally work.
Or I believe there's a contact form on our website as well.
Oh, perfect.
northernknitspodcast.com.
You did all that stuff.
I did.
I just do the recording stuff.
Which I super appreciate. Because I do not want to listen to our voices that much.
What? Hey, listen, I made a whole shawl last week.
Yeah, well, I didn't really do knitting last week. I was too busy not sleeping or eating.
Oh, I was getting all these Snapchats from Red. She was working on her Wonder Woman shawl, and then she was done her Wonder Woman shawl. I'm currently freaking winding yarn because I must do Wonder Woman.
I'm really excited to start the Wonder Woman, but oh my goodness, I have too many things in my work in progress bag.
That's totally fair. Why don't we start with our usual segment? And rather than doing a straight-up regular podcast, this is going to be a late one. We're going to toss it up as quick as we can. Diana has been in Vegas for the previous 10 days.
Yep.
I was doing a double readathon, and that was on the heels of going to Icon, which is the local anime convention here in the city. So we're going to do it as sort of like a recap episode. So rather than letting Diana tell you what we're going to talk about this week, we're just sort of going to dive in,
And
start with what's in our cup,
stuff.
and we're going to go from there, guys. It's going to be a crazy gong show this week.
Awesome. The best kind.
In my mind. All right, my dear, what are you drinking?
I am drinking peach black tea that we bought at the farmer's market like 3 weeks ago
that
at this
teammate
point.
stuff.
Yeah.
They're getting a location on Osborne, aren't they?
Yeah, it said 222 Osborne on the tea package when I was making it.
So exciting! I don't need the instructions on the Nastapena.
What are you drinking?
I am drinking some orange spice from the second cup because I got off the bus and my brain went, go get tea.
It seems like a perfectly logical thing to do upon getting off the bus.
And that makes my mind, yep. Well, especially since I had that, when the bus is full, but nobody wants to sit beside me because clearly you can catch my blindness, like you can catch leprosy. So...
yeah, blindness is, contagious, don't you know?
Oh my god! So I had all of the space around me. I was like, really, guys? One of these days I'm just going to give in to the urge and lick somebody and just go downhill from there.
Can I be there to see that? I want to see the chaos.
Just, man.
Anarchy!
I mean, it was really kind because the bus driver said that his, the sound speaker wasn't working. So he asked me when I had to get off so he would know what bus stop to tell me to get off at. So then I got off at River and Osborne because that's right near your place. So that was fine. So it was good because he gave the announcement verbally because I can pay attention to what's going on, but when we're in motion, my field of vision is limited to like less than 3 feet in front of me. That's why I have a cane.
Yeah.
When the bus is moving, it's even smaller, guys. Bus goes too fast. Goes too fast. What do you want me to tell you? So.
Well, it's trying to get from point A to point B. Like, car is the sponsor of the episode? Question mark?
Question mark? No, it's fine. It's not the end of the world. Sometimes I need help figuring out where I am and what's going on. So that's not the end of the world.
Oh, so do we want to back up and start with Icon?
I think it might be best to back up and start with Icon. On the
Okay.
bright side, for all of the talking I'm going to do at the beginning of the podcast, it's all you later on.
Yep.
All right, so Icon, it was your first anime convention.
Yeah. So that was fun.
Were you prepared for that crazy?
I mean, I've seen enough anime that I kind of had some idea of what to expect, so nothing really threw me.
Well, then we also didn't do some of the really crazy stuff, like we didn't do the dance rave or anything.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's probably alright. I did quite enough of that in Vegas. Wait for the stories. Yeah, so I felt like the overall quality of the cosplays was higher than any of the other cons that I've been to.
They take their cosplaying very seriously.
So I think, like, per capita there was probably less cosplay, but what there was much higher quality.
Well, it's because we get to do, when you do some things like, say, C4 and that, you have a tendency, it's not really so much cosplay, it's costumes, which is different.
So how would you like to define the line between cosplay and costumes?
A costume would be something that you would wear for, say, a Halloween, an adult party, you're going to your school dance, you're dressed up as the elven maid, or, the beer can. What other ones have I seen? I've seen some crazy ones. The Egyptian goddess. You see them. You see all the stores pop up around Halloween, and that's what you're doing. If you're cosplaying, you are usually, and almost exclusively, a very, very specific character with a very specific outfit, a very specific look, and a very specific set of mannerisms that you will copy or mimic for photos. And you're not doing it because you're getting dressed to go to a party. You're doing it as sort of an expression of how much you enjoy the TV show and how much you identify with that said character.
Okay, so it's more like becoming that character as opposed to being yourself with a silly costume.
Yes.
Okay, I like that definition.
Both are great things, and there's nothing wrong with either. I have costumes, and I do cosplay. I just know that there's a bit of a difference. At least there's a difference for me.
Alright, I like that explanation.
Thank you.
I knew there was a difference, I just wasn't quite sure where
You
it
can
happened.
get really technical with it. I don't really think there's a huge point in being super technical with it.
It's cosplay if you say it is?
It's cosplay if you take it to that level of seriousness. I don't know many people who will drop hundreds of dollars on a costume. They will drop hundreds of dollars on a cosplay.
Okay.
Yeah. So that if something's slightly off on your costume, like the color isn't perfectly matched, or your wig isn't exactly the right shade of green, nobody cares or notices. If it's wrong on a cosplay, it's not acceptable. Like there's a level and standard that you usually are striving for that matches either the video, like the TV or the movie or the book or the manga or wherever it is that you're pulling your inspiration from.
Alright. Cool. Do we want to talk about some of the cool vendory people?
Am I doing this even remotely right?
I think so.
Okay.
It takes a long time for it to start looking like a cake.
Got it.
For reference, Jocelyn is borrowing my nostipin.
I am attempting to do a nostipin cake rather than my traditional make a ball.
Which is, it's the manual ball winder. Or cake winder. It's the manual cake winder.
Manual cake winder. Which is fine. It's all learning about the techniques. Now, don't get me wrong. I love the Funky Kitchen's ball winder.
Yeah.
I keep hoping my dad will get me one of those because he keeps seeing them at the store. That's right, I take my dad to Wolseley Wool all the time.
Mm-hmm.
A, because he won't tell me no, so I get to buy extra yarn. Oh, daddies.
I'm pretty sure my dad wouldn't buy me extra yarn if I took it. I don't...
You saw my dad. He was with us. He sat down in the chair and he had a nap while we shopped, and he was perfectly content to do that. He didn't care. He watched our yarn and our bags, and we took as long as we wanted, and he just closed his eyes and had a nap. And when we were done, he bought my yarn and we wandered out the door.
Pretty sure my dad wouldn't do that.
No, that's my
He
dad.
could have tea with us afterwards, but I don't think he'd really care to do the yarn shopping.
No, that's my dad. He also does that at clothing stores, bookstores. Yeah. Yeah. When we go down to the chapters down by Polo Park, he just buys himself a tea or parks himself in the corner with a book and sits down and he reads and he waits till we're done. My mom and me can be 2+ hours in a bookstore.
I believe it.
Yep. So, my niece is quickly getting to that point too. So, the best thing about Icon is the sponge cakes. No,
Best thing about Icon is the those weird fizzy drinks that I couldn't open.
Oh, those things! I don't know what they're called because they're not in English, but yes.
Yeah.
That was hilarious. And
I tried really hard.
We'll buy more next year and we'll try again. And when you have problems, Jocelyn will open it up for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I am a strong and independent woman. Will you open my fizzy drink for me?
Absolutely. Not a problem. So, it was great fun. It has grown in the 7 years since I started attending. So, I have enjoyed watching this convention grow and gain its legs and start to become as big of a deal as I think it should be. So, we got a smattering. We've discovered K-pop is not for Diana.
I like the music. The dance is super not my style.
No, that's totally fine.
It looks super fun, but the movements are not at all intuitive to me.
That's totally okay. It was too dark for me to try, so I mean, it was light enough I could see what they were doing, but there wasn't quite enough light for me to. I didn't want to hit somebody, and knowing my luck, I'd deck a tiny person, and that would be bad, and I'd feel awful. So I stood to the side and I watched, and I had fun bouncing around to the music, so it was good. We saw a lot of great costumes, a lot of great sewing, a lot of great cosplays, more great sewing. I bought a stuffed mashed cat ears and tail set.
Yes.
Not cat, sorry, fox.
Oh, right, yes.
And walked around all weekend with those on because that was quite fun. Matched my outfits that I packed. I didn't even plan on that. That just sort of happened.
It worked out really well.
It really did. So, hey, totally game for that to be a thing.
I bought myself a toothless
onesie.
It's not a onesie. There's
sorry.
It's a kigurumi?
Kigurumi.
There we go.
I think, yes.
I think so. Which is basically a onesie, but the crotch is at your knees.
Yes.
And that makes it different somehow. Anyway, it's super fuzzy and wonderful, and I love everything about it, and I've been wearing it every chance I get.
Oh, duh.
I wore it all weekend, and I wanted to take it to Vegas with me, but I didn't think I probably needed a giant fuzzy suit in the desert, which was a correct assessment. I did not.
Because it was 30 degrees at its lowest?
Yeah, 30 degrees Celsius was the low.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah, it was rough.
Not for me.
Yeah.
Not Jocelyn Climate, people. Not Jocelyn Climate. I, as always, enjoyed the few panels that we did make it to. I always find I don't end up making to as many panels as I want to if I'm not staying at a hotel for the weekend. Mostly because all the stuff I want to go to is
in the morning?
Super early in the morning, and I'm never up and coherent enough to get all of my transit figured out and get to the convention on time. So I'm thinking for C4, I'm going to stay in a hotel room. It's nice and close.
I fortunately live a 25-minute walk from the convention center, so it suits me fine.
Yeah, it works. Well, that, and I mean, it just depends on where your interests are in life, so we'll have to see if my friends are even going to make it in for C4, so if they don't, I might be crashing on a couch.
Yeah?
Yep. Because my house is an hour and a half away by bus, folks.
Yeah. Do we want to talk about some of the super cool vendory people?
Absolutely. We got to mate?
We
got to meet. That's fine English for you. Got to meet some new people and make some new friends. That's the word I was going for.
Oh, I see. Okay.
We sort of became bosom buddies with the ladies at the Cyanide Stuffies.
Yes.
They were amazing.
I bought from them a vial containing glitter and an actual preserved octopus tentacle. And I put it on and basically didn't take it off for the next 2 weeks. I'm finally not wearing it today.
Oh my. That is some dedicated wearing time.
I really like that necklace.
It was a freaking nice necklace. The women were absolutely amazing. They're on Facebook, and they're a local Winnipeg store. So
Yeah.
again,
They're also on the Instagrams.
they're on the Instagrams.
And we will absolutely link them in the show notes.
Oh, absolutely. That and they were really pretty necklaces. That and she takes commission, so I'm thinking I might need to get a Jack Stuffy. 'Cause Jack Skellington from The Nightmare Before Christmas is the best! Favorite movie, my favorite characters, Sally and Jack. Feel free to judge me. I don't mind.
No judgment. They are very nice characters.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Tea. Alright.
Yeah.
This is very slow.
Yes. As you figure it out, it gets faster.
Guys. I can wind a ball of yarn in about 35 to 40 minutes. By hand. Just into a ball. This is not a problem. I suspect this first attempt at a Nostapena is going to take me a lot longer than 40 minutes. On the bright side, I can tell everybody what I'm winding. I'm winding the gold color for my Wonder Woman shawl. Ooh, shawl stuff. But wait, I hear everybody who listens to us all the time. Jocelyn, you have too many shawls on the go. You're wrong. I finished one. Diana left to go to a convention. You would have seen it on the posts recently, the Bendy Arrow shawl, which I have to thank the Cozy Up with the Stitching Sisters for letting me know about that pattern, because, oh my god, it is so fun. And it does knit up quite quickly. I took it with me to Icon, so here's our yarn on the go. I believe you took the Belrose shawl?
Yes, I took the Belrose shawl to Icon.
And what we would do is there's a skywalk area between the marketplace and a lot of the panels and stuff, and we would sit there to take breaks and stuff, and essentially cosplay watch.
Mm-hmm.
Or in Jocelyn's case, stay stationary long enough for everybody to find her. My god, I forget how many people I know.
It's not that big a convention, and you seem to know a lot of people there.
I mean, every time we stopped, 1, 2, 3 people who knew me would stop and talk.
Yep, pretty much, yeah.
Oh my goodness. Hey, wonderful. It was a great way for me to catch up and talk to some friends and people I haven't seen in a long time, so hey, that was super cool. I really enjoyed it and got to see everybody dressing up. Still not sure about the gas mask in the middle of the convention when you have a full beard on underneath, but you know, made him happy. That's fine.
Yeah, I mean, it looked cool.
Would not be for me, but I don't go for things that make me overly warm.
Fair enough.
Anyway, I am winding the Manos de Uruguay Fino. I'm going to pass the little card to Diana so she can tell me what the color is.
Oh, I think it was like filigree or something?
Yeah.
It's upside down. Yes,
Filigree?
Filigree.
It is a beautiful tonal wheat gold color into like a sort of ancient copper tonal.
It is all the best colors of yellow.
It is all the best colors of yellow. I'm going to pair it with the Algria. I still like mispronouncing that one. It's another Manos de Uruguay. This one is in a red colorway, and again, I'm passing the tag to Diana.
Carmine? C-A-R-M-I-N-E.
Anyway.
I'm going to go with Carmine.
Yeah, Carmine sounds plausible to me. It's
Ooh.
a nice, deep, sort of
Looks even better in a ball.
It does look better in a ball. Russety red, auburny red. I'm going to go auburn, russety red. For the Wonder Woman shawl. So the red will be the bulk, and then the Wonder Woman W, obviously, in the gold colors. So definitely movie Wonder Woman, not comic book Wonder Woman.
Yep, and I have the exact same yarn in the exact same colors that I will get to this shawl eventually.
Red was just poking me. She's like, it's done! My shawl's done! And I'm like, must start! So I had to finish a bunch of things in a hurry. So, anyway, yarn and go. I was doing things, and I was working on my Bendy Arrow shawl, and then Diana went to Vegas, so I didn't have to record or do anything. I was just doing a double readathon. Guys, that's...
So you just did a whole shawl while I was gone for 10 days.
I did a whole shawl while you were gone for 10 days, because I was in that first part where the white is. Right? Yeah, because I was working on my white repeats in section 1. And then when you were gone, I did section 2, section 3, section 4, section 5, through the decreases. So, yep. I did a whole shawl when you were done. Gone.
That looks so good.
Yep. Yeah. I need to weave in the ends and I need to block it. Because,
Yeah.
that's what you need to do. I did the bendy arrow using the poison colorway from Hedgehog Fibers in their sock base. And that is a red... Well,
Red to black?
Red to black. It's got a couple of spots where you get some slight purple tonal.
It's like a purpley, it's almost kind of fuchsia-y. I
is.
didn't see the fuchsia-y in there.
Neither
before.
did I. Well, not when it was in a skein or when it was wrapped up in a ball, but since it's been knitted up, like, that colorway just worked out beautifully well.
It looks really good. And especially with the white, I love the stripy section.
Oh, yeah, the 2x2 stripe section.
Yes.
It doesn't even look like it's just two different types of yarn. It looks like I've got several types of yarn in there.
It looks so good.
I know.
Like,
I'm
visually impressive.
So excited with how it turned out. I've got to do some blocking with it because, again, obviously there's slightly different weights of yarn, so I got a bit of a dip on my one corner that I need to block out. But
blocking should solve most, if not all of that.
Yeah, and it had a I-cord edging to it all the way around.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
that
got
looks really nice.
And that just turned out...
If I ever design a shawl, I'm stealing that.
That edging is freaking gorgeous, so I don't blame you. So that's all done and said.
Oh, that's soft.
And I did this while I was listening to audiobooks while I was doing my double readathon, because I did the biannual bibliothon and I did the book tubathon while you were in Vegas, which is, for me, it ended up being 10 books in 7 days.
I'm very impressed. I'm like 10 different shades of impressed.
I took a break from reading. I didn't read till I stopped reading at midnight on Sunday, because that's when BookTube was done. Technically it was 8 days because the biannual started a day earlier and ended a day later, but I did the group reads on the outset days, and then I did the pile, or the majority of the books in the middle when the actual athons were going on. So Mr. B didn't believe me, but I did not pick up a book till the 4th. So that was 3 whole days of not reading.
Oh my goodness.
And that's only because I'm now doing another readathon.
So,
August, okay, for those who don't know, I'm a book blogger. August is the month of big readathons. I'm currently doing Tome Topple.
This sounds large.
It is large. The only primary rule is the book must be more than 500 pages.
Yep, that's large.
It's a tome. It is a big book to read. I have 3 on my to-do read list. I've finished 1. So I have 2 more to go, and it's a 2-week readathon that starts on August the 4th. Totally doable. But the other 2 are only like 700, 900 pages. They're not that much. If I can read 10 books in essentially 7 days, I'm sure I can handle 2 books across 2 weeks.
So I've got a question.
Yeah.
Because I find when I just binge read books like that, I retain basically nothing. How much of these books do you retain?
Depends on how much I've gotten into the book. Like, some of the ones that I read, like the 2 group reads that I read for the last readathons, I didn't retain that much of. Like, I wrote notes down, but I wasn't really into them. They're not ones I would have picked on my own. So for me, that sort of makes the world of difference. A lot of the other ones, like if they're graphic novels or comic books, I have a tendency to not give them as much focus and attention as I probably should. I enjoy them, but I don't store the information in my head. If it's not an epic high fantasy, I read it, I enjoy it, but it doesn't sort of follow me in any great detail. The epic high fantasies, that is when people are like, what's your favorite genre? Mine is that beefy 1,000-page, it's going to take you forever, Tolkien-esque fantasy book with there's more politics and everybody's names sound the same and it is a hot, complicated mess. I love those books, and those ones stay with me for a very good long while. But some of the lighter stuff that I read a lot of the lighter stuff I read does not stay with me outside of the week. Okay. I can tell you whether I enjoyed it and I didn't enjoy it, and why I enjoyed it or didn't enjoy it, but I might not always remember all of the character names. I might not remember all of the places that everybody went, but I'll have a general idea of what's going on in the plot to recommend it or not. Okay. Otherwise, that's too much information. My brain won't handle all of that info.
That's like 10 books, 7 days. You can't possibly retain all of that.
3 of those were graphic novels, and 2 were graphic novels, and 1 was a comic book.
Still. Can't possibly retain that much.
Not in 1 week, no, I wrote notes. And it'll take me forever to get the blogs posted, because I still don't want to look at those notes. It's a lot of reading. You're very committed to something, and I love doing them. I also hate doing them. It's a serious love-hate relationship. It's like when you're halfway through a project, and you just want to get it done, but it feels like it'll never finish.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's like. I think that was my complaint about the Bendy Arrow, is I got into the decrease section. I was like, yes, decreases! This is gonna fly! And it took forever. Forever.
Forever being a relative time somewhere less than 10 days.
Yeah, I essentially did a shawl in less than 2 weeks. She still doesn't know how far I've gotten in the Find Your Fade.
No.
And you're not going to find out till we record on Tuesday.
You're gonna pull out another finished shawl, aren't you?
Why? God, I hope not. It's not that long till Tuesday. It's a holiday weekend. And you're going to give me a book. It could distract me.
Ooh, distractionary tactics. Here, have more books.
Everybody, why is Diana buying you so many books? Apparently I'm knitting too much.
I want to finish something first, please.
Well, you know what you have to do. I'm gone for 2 weeks.
Like you're not going to knit for those 2 weeks?
So don't be ridiculous. I'm visiting with my mother. I'm not dead. Now, I mean, legitimately, my dad's on vacation, so there'll be a lot of traveling and sightseeing and doing things. We might go up to Grand Prairie to visit her brothers, my uncles, which is totally fine. Like, I'm game to sort of truck around the Alberta and Saskatchewan and visit people and do stuff, and I think that's perfect. It's exactly what visiting should be. So, and there'll be lots of shopping, because my parents like to do that as well. And, you know, walking. Call it taking Mom out for her daily constitutional.
Right.
My mom's not a big walker. I am, and so is my dad. So she's very excited for me to come and very excited for me to go home at the end of my visit, because she's very tired and wants to nap. They're hoping to distract me with some production knitting, because I'm going to do craft tables in the fall and over the winter this year. So I'm going to pick up a bunch of yarn for that in the bulky yarn, and I'm going to be working on mittens and hats, or mittens and toques. But not kid mittens and toques. They're going to be adult mittens and toques.
Well, if you've gone as far as making kid stuff already, I mean, adding on an extra couple inches for an adult is
nothing.
Nothing.
Well,
it's
that
like 8
is
more rows.
Well, you see a lot of stuff for kids. You see the chunky mittens and the hats and the matching stuff, and I always kind of wanted it for adults too, but I could never really find it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, no, I'm going to make it, because I know there's other adults out there like me who want the cheesy, funny hats and matching. I almost bought a unicorn hat, let's be honest, folks. I was super close to buying myself a fleece unicorn-headed hat with a long scarf. In fact, we have her... we have her business card, so I don't remember her name off the top of my head, but I'm going to probably get in contact with her and get said unicorn head hat, because I have a rabbit ear hat, and I have a cat hat. So I think the unicorn is next on the list. Obviously.
And once we find this person's business card, which I know we have in that stack somewhere, we will link her in the show notes.
Oh my god, yes. We will have to link her in the show notes, because I've got it somewhere in this ginormous stack of cards from different vendors. But it's, I don't know, there's just something so cool, because it was like Heartleaf Designs had, one of the vendors that was there had those superhero bags. Was it Heartleaf Designs? No, it wasn't
that one. Heartleaf, it does crocheted
wire jewelry.
Yeah.
That was fun. That was freaking pretty. Yes, she's just got a couple samples on the back of her card.
Right.
Those were pretty. There was Colleen's Emmy Critters.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Right, she had the giant pile of all the different Pokeballs.
For Mr. B for his birthday, maybe. Crocheted Pokeballs. Yep. Because nerd crafting. I really wanted the mushroom, because she had Mario mushrooms. They're so squishy.
The mushrooms were really cute.
They were so cute. We ran out of time to grab them before we were able to, before the marketplace closed for the day. Which is fine. There was so much stuff going on. We had a lot of fun. We did a lot of walking. Saw a lot of stuff. There was a lady there who was selling, costumes for puppies and cats.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. What else? There was that lady who had made a Sailor Moon umbrella. That was that fancy umbrella.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
That was amazing.
It was
amazing work.
beautiful.
She has amazing jewelry. Names become a blur.
We must have got their card.
Oh, I'm sure we did. I didn't bring all the cards. There's just too many.
All right.
It was a thing when you're at conventions. We did get to go, and we saw a couple of displays outside the marketplace. One was the Sons of Lu,
Sons of Lu.
which is a Viking Age living history group. And one of the ladies there was using a traditional Viking knitting technique.
Null binding.
Yep.
Yes.
Which was so cool.
I'd seen it on like YouTube before, but I'd never seen it in real life, and it was really cool.
I'd never seen it in person, and I just absolutely
really
That's on my wish list.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta learn that. That'd be so fun. And then the other one that we got really into was the Arta Wigs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because we discovered you could order clip-ins that are long enough to go with your hair.
Yeah, there's actually clip-in hair extensions that would add length to my hair.
Which is kind of cool, because you got a lot of hair.
Freaking lot of hair. I would probably have to dye my hair.
Well, that's fine. You dye your hair anyway.
Well, yeah, but I dyed it red, and then I'd have to go blonde for the Rapunzel thing. And going blonde from red is hard on hair.
Well, you don't have the costume made, so somehow I don't think we have to worry about it this year.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Well, hey, my allergies are getting better. It's almost harvest season. Soon the plants will die.
Yes, but during harvest season, there's all that lovely dust in the air.
Yeah, I know it's not going to help me any, but I can hope. I can hope. But yeah, no, Icon was an absolute blast. Saw things that were crafted from craft foam, sewn items. I'm sure there was a lot of other arts and crafty things going on that I might not have necessarily seen. With the limitation in the vision, there was a lot of stuff. We ate a lot of strange Japanese candy.
Can't even tell you what it all was, because literally no English on the package.
None whatsoever, but they were tasty. So that's all that matters to me.
They were chewy and contained red bean paste.
I liked the sesame balls we got.
I still have my red bean mochi in the cupboard.
Do you?
Yeah.
I finished all mine. I'm very diligent in my sugar consumption, okay? And then we had traditional Japanese sponge cakes.
Which is the best sponge cake I have ever had.
Oh my god, it was so tasty.
It was spongy, but it was like soft, because like I was expecting something like an angel food cake, which is slightly chewy, and I don't really like the chewiness.
Nor do I.
This was a cake texture that, like, you squished it and it was spongy, and it looked like a sponge, but you ate it and it was just a fluffiest cake I've ever had.
Super light, fluffy. Like, I'm like, nope, I'm gonna learn how to make that, cause
so good.
I need to have more of that in my life.
Yeah.
No, it was super, super, super tasty. So I was really happy we tried a bunch of stuff. Also tells me where I'm going to narrow in my fields for next year and try different things, because we should try different things all the time. Big truck driving past.
Loud noises.
Woohoo! So overall, Icon, your first anime convention.
Loved it. Would go again.
We'll go again.
10 out of 10 will go again.
10 out of 10 will go again.
As long as it doesn't, overlap with Defcon.
That's totally fine.
Which at some point in the future it might. I don't know. Are there Icon dates for next year already?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Because Defcon is going to be this week coming up next year.
Well, that'll be in August, so definitely not, because it is always in July for Icon.
Okay. So yes, 10 out of 10 will go again.
Excellent. My sister and I were discussing maybe getting a hotel room and seeing if you wanted to come with us, and a little one. And we can do a girls' Icon weekend.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
I'd be okay with that.
She'll be 11 at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because my sister will definitely do the rave with you when I can babysit the little one when she gets tired, because I can't do the rave.
Mm-hmm.
But you can take somebody else who can, so.
Alright.
I might do a girls' weekend of it. Because
Like
nothing
that.
says bonding like taking your niece and your sister to Icon. Also means we could do 3 a.m. gaming with game night.
Oh, yes, we could.
Mm-hmm.
I'm down for that.
So, Icon was a blast. We saw a lot of things that were sewn, handcrafted, knitted, crocheted, and bought. Ate a lot of sugar.
Yep.
Saw some panels. Tried K-pop.
Failed at K-pop.
And had a really good time.
Yeah.
Met up with the boys, went for dinner, ate real food. Everybody had 8 hours of sleep. Everybody ate food. Everybody showered.
Yeah.
Then Diana was left without adult supervision, and that apparently went out the window.
But
I hear you had fun.
Plenty of adult supervision. Literally everyone was an adult. I just forgot to eat and sleep and shower.
So, Sunday of Icon, I started my double readathon, and you flew to Vegas.
I flew to Vegas. I am going to give the small and related to crafting version of the events that follow, but I'm currently in the process of writing a full account of events on my blog that I have, which I will link in the show notes. So yeah, if you want the full version of events, there will be a blog post up probably by the time that this goes live. But this is the short version.
Well, yeah, because knitting.
So, the short version can basically be summed up as, OMG, what just happened?
I got some very interesting Snapchats while you were gone.
I don't know what happened, but it was amazing, and I would rearrange my wedding to go again. And
oh my god.
I actually almost have to, because the dates are different for next year than they were this year.
Yeah.
So it's literally the weekend before my wedding.
You, my dear, your mom is not going to be happy with that concept at all.
No, she's not, and I don't care. I'm going to Defcon. I would rearrange my wedding to go to Defcon.
Okay.
That is how amazing it is. So, the overall feeling is, have you ever walked into a room of people and known in the core of your being that you belong there with those people? Because they get all your dumb jokes and your stupid obscure references, and nothing you do is weird because they're all just like you.
Yes.
Now imagine it's a small city, and you get to be there for 4 days.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
There's hand-waving excitement going on over there.
Like, 25,000 people, all there for the same reason, and just so many incredible people were around, and I just feel so inspired and energized, and, like, I cannot wait to dive headfirst into this community.
Good.
There aren't enough words. I do not have the words to explain this.
Alright, I know, oh heavens, what's her Twitter handle?
Straith?
Straith. Wants me to jump headlong into it too.
Literally everybody does. Like, I told people, I thought people might be unfriendly because I was a noob. Like, I've never done any information security stuff.
Yeah.
And everybody was just super open, like, okay, well, what do you do? Like, okay, well, that's related to this thing, which is related to that thing, and if you're into this thing that I thought was completely unrelated, then you probably like this aspect of information security. And, oh, by the way, like, I do this super cool thing as my day job, and here's my card, and, oh, you're looking for a job? Okay, well, I'll get back to you on that. And, by the way, do you want to come to this party tonight? And that was, like, every third conversation. And I had a lot of conversations.
I'm really leaning towards owning a bookstore.
People invited me to move to Belgium.
I know, Belgium! That's the furthest invite away, and I'm like, wow. Though that would give me a couch to crash on when I go to visit Belgium, so...
The whole thing is just so... There aren't enough words, so I'm just going to stop repeating myself and focus on more specific things.
Okay. You met knitters.
I did meet knitters, but first I wanted to talk about something that I actually forgot to mention before.
Sure.
Hashtag badge life.
Hashtag badge life.
Badge life.
Okay.
So, you know how you go to a conference and you get your badge that says, yes, I paid for my entry and whatever.
Oh, yeah.
You wear it on your lanyard around your neck.
Yeah.
So, it's a hacker conference. You get the coolest badges. They are small computers.
What?
Yeah. Like, if you're familiar with Arduinos or Raspberry Pis.
I'm familiar with Raspberry Pis, but not Arduinos.
Same idea.
Okay.
Different execution, same idea.
Okay. All this tech stuff, guys. Trust me. Hang out with a techie.
So, people...
For the rest of it, I should be saying, like, we should be having a nerd alert going on in the background.
Oh, absolutely. There's a giant flashing red light nerd alert on my head right now.
Oh my god. Oh, totally. I'm with you.
So normally the Defcon badges are like absolutely the freaking coolest thing. Like they are Wi-Fi enabled and you can like communicate with each other on them. Was like one of the badges one year. Another year they were records, like actual vinyl records that contained a part of the puzzle for the capture the flag. So this year they had a manufacturing kerfuffle, and they ended up with kind of lame badges. But all the other sub-communities really stepped up and made these freaking amazing badges. So people will bring their old badges, they'll collect new badges, they'll trade badges, they'll make their own unique badges, and people will just walk around with, like, anywhere from 5 to 20 badges on lanyards around their neck. And there's just this blinking festival of...
Badgery?
Yes.
That is so not English, I don't care, we're using it.
Yeah, it's... And so every one of these badges is either a proclamation of, I am so cool because I made my own badge, or I belong to whatever community.
That works with that subset of badge.
Yeah, so there's...
That's an amazing way of identification.
Yeah, so the badges are like a symbol of unity with the various subgroups, and then of course everybody's got the Defcon badge, which is the overarching symbol of unity.
Yeah.
So it got to the point where I had to take all my badges off, obviously, at the end of the con to like get through airport security, because they're all like this blinky shit.
Yeah, no, that's so not going to travel.
And,
no.
Yeah.
No.
Pointy pins and stuff
Nope,
all over the place. Like,
that's going in your checked baggage.
Yeah. So I finally took off all my lanyards, and I felt so empty. I had to put on like all the necklaces I brought because I felt so empty and alone. It was a really weird psychological thing going on, but everybody I talked to, because a lot of people will just hang out in Vegas for an extra day or two, because Vegas.
I don't see a problem with hanging out in Vegas for an extra day or two.
So
other than it's too hot for Jocelyn.
It's far too hot. But, so, a lot of people will just keep wearing their badges, because it's like this symbol of unity, and everybody that's not wearing a badge that I ran into is like, yeah, no, that's a normal feeling to have, to not want to take your badges off at the end of the thing, because it's a big deal. So, hashtag badge life. I'm making my own badge next year.
Absolutely.
So I mentioned that because it's like nerd crafting.
Hello. Yes. Absolutely.
Like the nerdiest of nerd crafting.
Oh my god, totally. That is so gonna happen.
So
I'm gonna figure out
I had to mention badge life.
That totally had to happen. No, I agree. I think it is amazing. I think it is amazing that those communities exist, and that you get that overlay, that people have different day jobs, or, you know, and that this is something that they're just passionate about. It's very reminiscent of the knitting community, of fiber crafts, or people who paint for a living. It's just their passion is this, and that's what binds them together in a shared sort of group feeling. No, I think that's amazing. I am so glad you had fun.
Just the overall feeling of unity and belonging, and
even if I did feel a little bit jealous about having to vicariously live through your photo snapshots of 3 a.m. pool parties and fancy fountains, while I did my laundry and adulted. Not really that adulted, guys. There was a cake in my fridge last week.
There's no cake anymore.
No, it's gone. I had to finish 10 books, guys. I needed motivation. And a shawl.
Yeah, there was very little adults. Well, so the con rule is 3-2-1, 3 hours of sleep, 2 meals, 1 shower.
Yes.
And at the start of the week, I was like, yeah, I can do this. I'm getting 6 hours of sleep and 3 meals and 1 shower every day, sometimes 2 showers. Like, I'm doing really well. By the end of the week, there was so much going on. I had met so many people, and I was trying to go to all of the things.
Nope.
Why
the golden rule is 3-2-1, and it's hard to meet.
I was getting 2 hours of sleep, most of a meal, and I don't think I showered yesterday.
Oh my.
And I just...
So what you're saying is I should have been sending you
forgot.
pictures of soap bars?
I just
At my
forgot to
meals
take
for
care
my
of this
duty.
basic stuff because there's just so much going on. And I didn't need coffee.
Nope.
Like,
not if you're that energized.
I drank coffee one morning. I drank a lot of coffee that one morning, but it was just that one morning.
Is that the one where you went to bed at 5 a.m. and then got up at 8?
Yeah.
Okay.
That morning.
I think I had a nap after I got those Snapchats because that wore me out. I'm old.
I didn't even, drink a lot. Like, there were copious amounts of free alcohol, and even if the alcohol isn't specifically free, being a woman at a tech conference, a wink and a smile will get you free alcohol.
Being a woman in most places with a wink and a smile, and if you absolutely have to, a bit of a V-cut shirt, you're good to go. It's a sad statement to make.
Yeah, but I didn't need alcohol. Actively refused alcohol because I just didn't need it.
Oh, I'm not a drinker, so... Not anymore, it used to be. Don't really anymore.
Overall statement is freaking amazing, and if you have the slightest interest in information security or being a hacker, quote unquote,
check it out.
go to Defcon. Just go.
Check it out. Dive in.
It is worth every penny that you will spend, and just go. So more knitting specific. I met some knitters.
Podcast, technically.
Yeah. So, met some knitters. I met Kat.
Okay.
I will link to all these people in the show notes, their Twitter handles. Kat ran the lockpicking village, so I learned how to pick locks.
Okay.
Side note, if anybody is using a master lock and thinking it's secure...
No.
It's not.
No,
Change it right now.
Yeah, no.
I am bad at picking locks, and I can pick a master lock in less than a minute.
Yeah, no, don't use master locks.
Do not use master locks. They are useless. Okay. PSA done.
It's why they're used in the schools. It's how you get into them when the kids forget their codes.
PSA over. Yes, I met Kat. She's a knitter. Didn't end up having even time to get, sound bites or interviews or anything.
No, from the sounds of it, you were one crazy conventioning machine.
Yeah. Pretty much. I met several guys who were like, oh yeah, my wife knits, but she couldn't come this year because they just had a kid, they just moved, they just, some major life event, and wife couldn't make it. So, passed out lots of business cards. One guy's wife is an actual designer.
Woohoo!
I looked her up on Ravelry. I like a very great deal of her stuff.
I like her shawls.
I won't mention a name yet, just because we want to get in contact with her and see about doing an interview.
I think that'd be fine.
So we might have an interview with an actual designer coming up, hopefully. Another knitter that I met / didn't actually meet in real life, even though we were at the same thing.
Is that the one where you tried to get together, but you just couldn't quite manage it?
Yeah, so, we connected on Twitter a whole bunch, and we were both at Defcon, and I'm like, I'm at this place for, the next 3 hours, you should come and knit with me, and, I can't, I'm on goon duty. Side note, goons are the volunteers at Defcon. Goons are God, you obey the goons. Also, if you're a nice human being, you bring them food and or alcohol. Because they work really hard.
I would imagine they do.
So this was InfoSec Sherpa. So I was constantly on goon duty, so I never actually got to meet her, which was unfortunate. but we've sort of connected on Twitter a bit. So she is the editor of the Advanced Persistent Security blog, which has
That's a mouthful.
which has a podcast that I actually completely independently met the host of that I didn't realize until I was doing the show notes for this podcast. So, C3P Joe is the host of the Advanced Persistent Security podcast. I met him at random, just hanging out in the lobby of the hotel looking for somebody to share a cab to go to a party with. And him and his friend just kind of popped up, like, oh yeah, we're going to the same party, let's share a cab. And so I ended up hanging out with him a whole bunch. He was really nice. They were, the two of them, I can't for the life of me remember his friend, it was like Matt or something, I can't.
You mean there's a person in tech who's not named Chris?
I know. So yeah, a nice couple of nice southern gentlemen escorted me to a fancy party.
Oh, how wonderful.
Yeah. So that was lovely, and they brought me drinks.
But it means knitters. We are everywhere.
We are freaking everywhere.
That's amazing.
Oh, side note, I am now on Twitter.
You're on Twitter.
My handle is Artemis, like the goddess, Artemis_134.
Or if you happen to follow me on Twitter, I tweet at her. Fair bit.
That too.
I got all excited you're on Twitter. I'm on Twitter a lot.
I mentioned that we might have an interview with the designer. Oh, other thing that I also forgot to tell you earlier.
Sure, I'm all yours.
Related to crafting geeky things.
Yep.
Straith and I are probably starting a company where we make hack-accessories.
Hack-accessories?
Hack-accessories.
What is a hack-accessory?
So it would be like a ring that you can twist around to do ciphers, like Caesar ciphers.
Okay.
Or hair sticks that you pop off the end and it's a lockpick.
That would be really amusing. I would own a hair stick that becomes a lockpick.
Or, I don't know, we had a whole bunch of ideas. Straith wrote them all down.
Somehow I'm wondering if that was a sleep-deprived, deep
Oh, it definitely was.
fueled...
It definitely was, but we kept talking about it.
Okay.
And we've continued to talk about it, even though we have now had real food and actual sleep.
And vegetables?
And vegetables. And we're still talking about it, so I think we're actually doing it.
Oh, could be a thing.
She's at Waterloo, and they're super friendly to students that want to make startups. They've got
That's nice.
like all the stuff you need right there, so
That's a bonus.
I think we're starting a company.
Yeah, sure, why not? If you've got this
I think I'm
support set up
co-founding
in
a company.
place, do it. Do it.
Yeah.
I work for myself. It's not like I'm really going to argue against this concept.
So
That's our fancy recap.
That's the short version.
That's the short version.
That's the short version.
Well, I know you took your knitting. You did some work on the Find Your Fade shawl.
I did.
We're going to hold off on seeing who won that till we record on Tuesday. Because they might know where you are, but nobody knows where I am.
Yes.
I even hid it, just in case you came on Thursday. I put it all away so nobody could see where I was at on
you're
Thursday.
serious about this, right?
I am. I mean, whatever. I could look over and see what you're working on, but really, what do I see? Not that much, so...
You can probably at least see that I probably don't have as much done as you.
I finished a whole shawl! I don't know what else I can do to give you extra help. I was only going to do one readathon. I did 2.
I got mountains of work done on the airplane on the way there.
Yep.
I got a little bit of work done during the minor amounts of downtime that I had during the con. I was going to knit on the flight back.
Slept?
I passed right out, like, mouth hanging open, drool down the side of my face.
Oh, you were full gone.
I was gone for the entire 4-hour flight.
Oh my goodness. Well, I got I saw your updates that your flight got delayed in Edmonton on the way home. Edmonton?
Yeah, I made it to Edmonton, and then my flight was delayed by 3 hours.
Yuck.
So I was leaving Edmonton at the time that I was supposed to be arriving in Winnipeg.
Yuck.
I was unimpressed. I basically sat in a stupor, looking at my knitting, thinking I should really knit, but I'm way too tired and I'm going to drop stitches.
Oh yeah, no, there's a time to knit and a time not to knit. But I'm glad you're home, I'm glad you had fun, I'm glad you got to meet knitters, and husbands and significant others of knitters, and have many great adventures in nerdiness. You enjoyed Icon. We don't have that many more left to go for the season. We have Fibre Fest in September.
Yeah.
And then we have C4.
Yep.
So we're winding down our year.
And then it's Christmas knitting.
Well, my Christmas knitting should be done by the time we get to C4.
I should make more of an effort on my Christmas knitting.
Mostly because I don't want to have to do Christmas knitting in, like, November. And I definitely don't in December because I participate in the Grinch Along in December, so...
I really want to Grinch Along this year.
So I'm a massive fan of that. And I'm also going to see if maybe I can sneak in a scarf or two for one of the local charities that knits scarves and ties them around trees here in the city for those who are less fortunate and homeless to have scarves in the winter.
Yeah, I can't remember what that one's called.
I can't either off the top of my head. If we can figure it out, we should link it in the show notes because that would be important.
Yes, I will absolutely figure out what that is and link that in the show notes.
So our friendly little short recap. There was some knitting in this podcast. I promise you, next podcast, we're back to knitting. I am going to post-haste Diana off to the computer, and I'm going to make her pick a theme song.
We're going to have a theme song.
So we can have a theme song.
Theme song.
That's more than us singing theme song.
You know what? At this point, we should probably just...
Something along those lines, and away we go. So, I am off to Saskatchewan at the end of the week. There shouldn't be any sort of interruption in service. We'll figure out how to do it. My stuff's a lot more low-key, so recording via distance won't be a problem.
Figure something out.
We can totally do it. I'm going to do Knit Club virtually. So we'll figure something out so my face can be here in your apartment when Knit Club's going on.
Alright.
Alright. So, if you want to find us on the internet, you can find me on the internet as Amber Dragon. It's pretty easy to find me. Mostly on Ravelry, Twitter, and where else do I live? Right now, Facebook. Shortly, everywhere. No.
I am disjointed on the internet. I am wool-rat on Ravelry. I am Firewater and Fiber on Instagram and Twitch. Back to my regularly scheduled virtual knit nights on Wednesdays at 8:30 Central Time. 8:30 p.m. Central Time. And now I am Artemis_134 on Twitter.
Oh. You know what else we're going to have to do when we're off air? Plan our trip to the Fargo Game Fest for our birthdays.
Oh, yes. That was the thing that I was trying to remember.
The Game Fest thing. Because they're having a gaming convention during our birthday month.
Well, we have to go. It's like an invitation.
We have to go and knit in Fargo.
And play games.
Well, obviously. We're taking the boys.
There'll be much gaming.
Much gaming. Super exciting. So, back to our regular scheduled podcasting next week. Things will go up, and we will finally find out who did more work for the Find Your Fade shawl.
I'm going to have to do a lot of knitting in the next 24 hours.
Sure, we'll go with that. So, anything else? Did we forget anything else? Have we remembered everything? Are we good?
I think so.
Are we golden?
I think
like my yarn!
Yes, I think it's time to go and poke a fiancé and start making dinner.
Woohoo! Do some dinner. Do some more nerdy gaming stuff. Let's do some Blood Bowl, as the case may be.
Sanguinary Chalice.
Yep. And until next time, I'm Jocelyn.
And I'm Diana.
Saying no matter where your week takes you,
don't forget to knit. I definitely forgot to knit. My week took me some weird places and I forgot to knit.
Your week took you to like 3 a.m. pool parties and you were up till 5.
Three 3 a.m. pool parties, one of which was on a rooftop.
Oh my god.
Where I was swing dancing with a guy that turned out to be a Fed.
Yep. My life was not that interesting.
I also put chickens on lanyards in the narwhal suite.
Yes.
The narwhal is in the flamingo. wink, wink.
Wink, yeah, that makes absolutely no sense.
I know, that's why I love saying it.
Other than my urge to make a flamingo and give it a narwhal suit. I got nothing.